Hi everyone, this is Alison from Freddie Loves Crochet, and today I'm going to bring you a tutorial on how to make this little crown, which is made in celebration of the coronation of King Charles III this year. It's ideal for lots of different things. You could either put it on make it into a garland, and I do have I'll show you that at the end of this video. Or you could put some ribbon on it and hang it as a little hanger to hang from your car mirror or from your kitchen cupboard door, something like that. Or you could put a keyring on it and it could hang from your bag, from your keys, as a little charm, as a way to celebrate King Charles being crowned in May. So we're going to start with a 4.5mm hook and some Aran yarn. So you only need scraps of yarn for this, really, because it is quite small. So I have got some Aran purple and then this mustardy yellow, which looks like gold, and also some white for the bottom of the crown. You're also going to need a small amount of toy stuffing or filling just to plush it up a bit. And if you wanted to, you could always get some like stick-on jewels or beads, and you could make it even shinier and sparklier to reflect the real crown that the king will wear. So we are using, like I say, we are using Aran yarn. You can use double knitting, which is a light worsted weight yarn, and a sort of a 3.5mm hook. And make everything a bit smaller. It'll just give you a smaller outcome, so you can use the same pattern, different yarn. So this is Aran, which is a worsted weight number 4 yarn, and a 4mm hook. So we're going to start off with a magic circle. If magic circles aren't your thing, you can do a chain 4 and join, and you will just need to sew up the hole at the end. So magic circle and chain 1, and then we're going to put 5 single crochets. I'm using US terms here. A single crochet is the same as a double crochet in the UK. So 5 single crochets into my magic circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm gonna pull tight. Now you can do this one of two ways. You can join with a slip stitch, chain 1 and continue, or you can work in spirals in the round, which is always my personal preference, because it means that we end up with a seamless join. In that case, you need a stitch marker. I prefer using a little scrap of yarn, but you can use a proper stitch marker if you prefer to do that. So I've got my 5 single crochets in here, and for round 2 we're going to double to 10 single crochets, which means I need to place 2 single crochets in each stitch around. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the last one, 9 and 10. And we're going to do some more increases now. So for the next round, I'm going to replace my stitch marker in there. Next round, we're going to do 2 single crochets in the first stitch and 1 in the following stitch. So it's a little repeating pattern there. 2 single crochets in the first stitch and then 1 in the next. And this will make our stitch count up to 15 by the time we've got around to our marker. 2 single crochets and then 1, and then the final repeat here. And so we're working towards 25 stitches. We're working up in 5s for this. Okay, so I'm going to replace my stitch marker. So for the next round, which is round 4, 1, 2 in the first stitch, and then 2 single crochets. All of this is worked in single crochets, by the way, which is a double crochet in the UK. We're going to put 2 in the first, and then 1, and then 1. So 2 single crochets in the first stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next 2. This will bring us up to 20 stitches. I'm nearly round there now. 1, 2, and then 2 single crochets. Final little repeat of pattern there. So it's a repeating instruction to do increases. If you work in the round a lot and you do things, toys or amigurumi type things, you'll be used to this sort of increase. And then we've got one final one. We're now at 20. We want to get up to 25. So 2 single crochets in the first stitch, 1 single crochet in the next 3. 1, 2, 3. 2 single crochets, 1 in the same stitch, 2, and then 1, 2, 3. 2 single crochets, and then give myself some more yarn, and then 1, 2, 3. 2 single crochets, we're nearly there. 1, 2, 3, and then 2 single crochets, and the final one. Okay, so we finished our increases now. This is as big as we're going to take it, and we should have 25 stitches or thereabouts. Now for the next 3 rounds, so for rounds 6, 7 and 8, you need to just do 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So we're not going to do any sort of increase. So I am going to pause it here for you. Pause it here and you catch up with me. So do 3 rounds now. So round 6, 7 and 8 will be just 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Pause it now and I will meet you back at round 9. So you should now have completed another 3 rounds of just 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and it should now starting to be taking shape like that. Making sure that the outside of your work is always facing you. Don't be tempted to flip it the other way. You can see it looks slightly different on that side. This is the outside of our work, and that's what we want to keep facing us. So in the next round, we're now going to decrease back down to 20 to bring that shape in a little bit there. So over the first 2 stitches you want to do a decrease. If you're not sure how to do that, this is how. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, but don't finish the stitch off. Insert the hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull it through, and you should have 3 loops, and then you yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So you've taken 2 stitches and made them into 1. Then we just do 3 single crochets along, so 1 in the next 3. And then we're going to do that repeating instruction again. So we're going to decrease again, yarn, hook in, yarn over and pull through, hook in the next stitch, yarn over and pull through, and then pull through all 3 loops. And then 1, 2, 3 single crochet. We do the decrease again, moving down to 20. 2, 3, and then another decrease, 1, 2, 3, and then another decrease for last one, and finally 1, 2 and 3. Okay, next you just want to do for round 10 you're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and then get ready to join on the next colour, which is the goldy yellow colour. So I'll meet you after this round. So after round 10 I'll meet you at round 11. Okay, so I've done 1 single crochet in each stitch around for round 10. For round 11 I've just stopped short of that very last stitch there, because this is where we're going to change now to our gold colour. So we're going to change colour. We're going to insert the hook into the last stitch, yarn over with purple, pull through, but we're now going to yarn over with our new colour to finish off that stitch, and that'll give us a nice clean sharp colour change. Okay, and I'm just going to trim off the purple colour. There we go. Right, so I've now got this lovely yellowy gold ready to start the next round. So the next 2 rounds, so rounds 11 and 12, are just 1 single crochet around in this new gold colour that we've put on our hook. So it's just 1 single crochet around. So I'll let you pause it here, and then if you do 2 rounds of gold, and I'll meet you back ready to change colour for white. So I have completed 2 rounds of 1 single crochet in gold, but just stop short with that last stitch there, where this is where we need to change colour again to white. So insert my hook, yarn over with the gold. I'm actually just going to trim that because I find it easier to do that first, and leaving those 2 loops, and then picking up my white and pulling that through and finishing the stitch off in white, and just give everything a little pull to tighten it up a bit. So we are now ready to join. We've joined our white, and then we're going to finish with the white. Now I've just changed my stitch marker yarn because I like it to be a different colour to what I'm working in. So the white, it's just another 2 rounds of 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So another couple of easy rounds, and then we will, after we've done those 2 rounds of white, we are going to stuff it and seal it up, and then we're going to put the other bits on the top of it to make it look a little bit more crown like. Okay, so I will let you pause it here and complete 2 rounds of 1 single crochet in each round, in each stitch around in white, and I shall see you in a minute. Okay, so I've completed 2 rounds of white, and just to finish off, I'm just going to put a slip stitch into that first stitch that we did there, just to sort of smooth that off there. I can remove my stitch marker now, and just, we don't want to fasten off because we're going to close over the crown once we've stuffed it. So leave a big loop so we're not going to lose our yarn. And now I've tucked all the loose ends inside. You can sew them in if you want, but there's no need to really with them being inside. And then just take some of your stuffing, pop it in. You want a decent amount to give it a nice, but you want it to sort of have this like sort of flat effect, if you see what I mean, and that way it's handy for lots of different uses then, rather than it being completely round. So you want it to push the sides together slightly. Okay, probably about that. You don't want too much towards the bottom either, because we're going to close it over. Just before we close it over though, we're going to use some purple yarn to make a little dimple in the top, so that it kind of, it's a bit too rounded there. It needs to have a little dimple in the top. And one of the ways that you can do this, there are several, but one of the ways, and it so that it completely disguises what you're doing, is to get a sort of an end of to cut off a bit of the purple yarn, and then I want you to put it through the stuffing and come out somewhere near the top of, in that magic circle, pull it through and leave an end like that, so that we can use that in a minute. Then go back through, so not exactly in the same place, find another hole near and come back through the stuffing, pull that through, and now if you give it a little pull, it pulls down. So what we need to do is then just tie these 2 ends in a knot like that, and it's great because you don't even really have to like sew the ends in, because all you need to do now is give that a little trim and just tuck that into there, and you've just created, see how you've created that little dimple there at the top. It just gives the crown a better shape. So now we've got our stuffing in there, we've made our little dimple, and we're just going to close over. You can sew this if you're more comfortable doing that, otherwise we're going to just single crochet this, sorry, we're going to slip stitch this opening close. So we're going to pinch the two sides together, and then you're going to have to work through 2 stitches and just slip stitch. So a slip stitch means there's no yarn over once you've come back out of the stitch again. So put it through the 2 stitches, yarn over, pull through, and then pull through the other loop again, and that gives it a nice clean close. You can, like I say, if you're not comfortable doing this and you find it easier to sew it, you can fasten off the white. Can't see where I'm going. There we go. Fasten off the white and leave a tail end long enough to be able to sew it up instead, if that's your preference. I just hate doing anything with the sewing. I do it as much as I can with a slip stitch instead, or without sewing it. Then we just trim that off, yarn over, pull it through so that we've just fastened off. So you see, you want to keep the sort of where we did the colour changes, keep them at the side, because we're going to be able to disguise them like that. So you can see we've still got our little dimple at the top there. Okay, so just going to sew this white tail end in just to get it out of the way, and then I'll show you what to do from there. So if you don't know how to darn in, when you've got something with stuffing in, it makes it a lot easier. So just put your, get a darning needle and put your tail end into the stuffing a couple of times back and forth, and then trim it short. There we go. So we're now ready to make this part. Now, there are 2 ways to do this. The easier way is just to make it as a separate piece and sew it on, or you can do what I'm going to do now, where we crochet it directly onto the crown. So we want to take some gold. If you want to do it the easier way, you need to chain 4, and from the second chain from the hook, you'll do a single crochet in each chain. So you'll end up with 3 stitches, and then you just keep going back and forth with a chain 1 at the end of each row until it's long enough, which is around sort of 15 rows. So it's long enough to go all the way over like that to the other side. But this way I'm going to join directly on to my crown here. So you want to identify sort of the 3, because we're going to do 3 stitches, the 3 stitches in the middle. You see we've got 1, 2, 3 there, 1, 2, 3 there, and 1, 2, 3 there. So this is our middle 3, 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to go around the post of a stitch there. If you can see that, I've gone around the post. It's like top stitching this around the post. And then I'm just gonna, I already had a slip knot on my hook, so I'm just gonna make a single crochet in there. I'm going to find the next post there, yarn that over, pull through, and then yarn over through 2, and then finally the last one. And like I say, if you're not comfortable doing this, you just can make it separately. We're working across 3 stitches. So that's our starting place. So we chain 1 at the end, and then we turn, and then you're going to work a single crochet into each one of those 3 stitches. So 1, oops, making sure you go through both loops, there we go, not like I just did, 2, and first one's always harder. Oops, I've missed that there. Here we go. That initial one is a bit tight. There we go. 3, and then chain 1 at the end and turn, and you do the same again. So 1, 2, 3. So what you're going to end up with is something like, say, like this, that starts here and it goes all the way over, and then I want you to keep going. For me, it's around 15 rows. It might be more or less for you. You want it so that your piece stretches to get to this point here. You don't want to stretch it too much, but it needs to have a little bit of giving, a little bit of tightness to it. So keep doing 1 single crochet in each one of those 3, and then a chain 1 at the end, and I will meet you when you have around 15 rows done and you're ready to join it to the other side. Okay, so now completed this, it should look something like this. Whether it's attached already or not, it should be something like this, that when you then, it meets there when you fold it over like that. So you can either now slip stitch to here, so you'd have to turn your work to do it. Either slip stitch to each one of these, but I find that actually creates a bit of a ridge and you'll get a smoother join if you trim the yarn, fasten off, pull through, and actually if you sew it on. So this is one of the occasions where I will sew it on. I do like to just attach it with crochet if I can, but I find that you have less of a ridge and a less of an obvious join if you sew it. So making sure it's across the middle 3 stitches. So it is, we've got 3 on that side, we've got 3 stitches on that side, so we've got the middle 3 there. And making sure that you attach it to the gold part, not the purple, so that you don't see the join. Okay, we'll just sew that on. There we are. So you can see it's a much sort of smoother join there, which matches the other side, which is great. So once you've sewn it on, just have to tie it off a little bit. Just to make sure it doesn't come loose, and then go back through there. Okay, I'm just going to sew in the one from here as well, and I will meet you ready to do the side parts there. Okay, so we're now going to do these sides here, and they're just chains. We just attach at the side, at the bottom, at the gold there, we chain, and then we slip stitch to the top. Then we do the same on both sides. So I'll do that with you. So move round to the side and attach around the post. There we go, so you're in and out like that. Yeah, I've already got a slip knot on my hook to do this so that I can get crocheting really easily, and then I just make a chain there, so pull one through the other, and then a chain around 7 for me. It might be less for you. 1, 2, 3 or more, 5, 6, 7, that'll do for me. And then I'm just going to do attach that there with a slip knot. Oh gosh, went off screen there, sorry. Then I'm just so we've got to the top, and I'm just going to attach there with a slip knot. Okay, so that's the first one done. I'm going to trim that and tie it off, and then you're going to do, there you go, pull that over there, just pull it into place. When you do the other one the other side, it'll even it out. Then I'm just going to attach the same at the bottom there and do the same 7 and slip knot it up to there. So I will leave you to do that. So attach there, chain, and then slip stitch, not slip knot, sorry, slip stitch it to the top. And then I'll meet you back ready to do the little top section of the crown, and then we'll be done. Okay, so I've completed the second side of that, and I've sewn in all my ends, and now I'm ready to just make this little thing and sew it on the top here. So I'm not even sure what that would call it. I think in real life it's a kind of dome shape with a cross on it. So it's that kind of the top of the crown that we're going to do. So it's pretty simple. Ideally a magic circle, if not do a chain 4 and join, and then so chain 1 if you're doing a magic circle, and then 5 single crochets into that magic circle. 4, And again, I'm going to work in a spiral rather than joining the rounds. So if that's something that you're comfortable doing, you can do that too. I'm just going to use a little bit of purple there as my stitch marker. And so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 single crochets, and I'm going to do 2 rounds now of 1 single crochet, oops, in each stitch around. So it's really quick and simple, this last little bit, and then we just need to sew it on, and you have made a little coronation crown. Okay. So I'm on the second round of single crochets around now, and I am done. So what I like to do when I'm working in a spiral in the rounds like that rather than joining is I do a slip stitch into the very first stitch there, just to even it off, because otherwise you end up with like a ridge at the bottom. So you need a fairly long tail here just to have enough to sew in. So pull that through to fasten off, and then the initial tail from around from in the center there, from the where you started, that can just be trimmed so that it doesn't get in the way. And then we're just going to sew it now to the top of the crown. So get your darning needle. I'll start this off, show you how I do it. So place it on the top, and then you're just going to you're going to go sort of into the gold of the crown and then out onto this little top domed section, and then in and then out like that. Okay, making sure it's in the center where you want it to be. Readjust it if you need to. And around. I think almost there. And round. There we go. Should be like, there we go. So that's all attached. Now I just need to darn in the end of that, making sure that it doesn't fall off. So making sure use the fact that you're working with stuffing as a good way to darn in your ends. That's it, and I'm just going to go through one more time. Trim that, and there we go. There you have it. You have these super cute, really versatile little coronation crowns. Hi everyone, this is... So if you want to add your crowns to a garland like this, you can get the full written pattern on my Etsy shop, in my Ravelry shop, or via my website. All the links will be in the description. But this is one of the ideas that you can use these little crowns for. If you've enjoyed today's tutorial pattern, please hit the subscribe button, and await new patterns coming soon. Thanks very much. See you now.